Hello, this is Mike Klein from Virtual Appliance. In this video, I'll be demonstrating the MASH dashboard's POI features. POI stands for Point of Interest and is represented by icons on a map. We're calling out something of interest. A point of interest may only define simple data or perhaps more complex data, such as audio, picture, and video files, like we see right here with a picture point of interest that I created. When a point of interest refers to any external media, like a video or a picture, it can be shared using Android's data sharing framework. Go ahead and see here, we got a multitude of options for sharing that picture file. Only when authorized can a user publish data outside of MASH. All points of interest obviously have a latitude and longitude, which allows for precise positioning on a map. Points of interest also have a presence ability, which will indicate when one point of interest arrives or departs from another. This obviously only works with mobile devices. Two crimes never arrive and depart. They don't move. So this is basically about mobile devices encountering another mobile device or a fixed point of interest. And if you desire these presence events at a building level, a Bluetooth or RFID would be required. MASH currently supports a number of points of interest which can be classified into the following categories. User-created, pictures, audio, and video, like this one we have here. It may take a second or two to open this image because it is multiple megabytes and my Wi-Fi connection is pretty crummy. So eventually this thing gets downloaded and shows up. There's my selfie. Okay, great. We can move along. So there's other points of interest as well besides the user-created points of interest, and we can see that these are available from a menu here for audio, picture, and video. We can also have mobile device-generated or mobile radio-generated points of interest. So if you're walking around with your mobile device and you encounter any Bluetooth devices or Wi-Fi hotspots, they can also be generated as points of interest. And then there are service-generated points of interest, and there's a few too many icons on that map there, but that's where the filtering comes in handy. So notice we're starting to see some crimes beginning to show up here. So that's an example of the service-generated points of interest. There's an application in the MASH server running on the back end that's gathering this crime data and actually putting it on the map for you. And then lastly, there are the application-generated points of interest for buildings and mobile devices, whether they're static or dynamic. And you just click on a point of interest to either add it to your toolbar or to either navigate to it, perhaps add a breadcrumb for its location. And let's go ahead and do an example here of a picture point of interest. Real quick, do the selfie again. You save it, give it a name. Selfie 5. I've done a few of these selfies already. Okay, so shortly we'll get an event indicating, there it comes, that a picture point of interest was created by Mike Klein called Selfie 5. So I don't actually zoom in to get to where you can actually see that selfie, but hey, there we go. We've got a number of these selfies. Trust me, one of them is this guy here. And I mentioned sharing the resources that points of interest are associated with, but any event that also has a resource associated with it, in this case, again, it's a picture file, we can again share that with other applications. So one thing about these points of interest, you can notice from this jumble that we have going on right here, that there needs to be additional schemes developed for overlapping and tiling and grouping these together so they're still accessible. Due to the potential number of points of interest, they're really only included on a map, generally speaking, for a limited time period or up to a certain threshold. They only display on a map, of course, when they haven't been filtered out and you are at the correct zoom level. There's no need to display crimes at very low zoom levels, which means very high up on the map. And if you can't see the point of interest that you're looking for, you can actually do a search for them. So we bring up queries, we do a search on violent crime, we got 11 results back. And we only got 11 results because of the radius of that search. So if I say that I want to do this search again, but this time let's edit that bad boy, violent crimes. And let's try this again. Oh, there we go. It took a while for that to, wrong thing happened here. Queries. Violent crimes. Edit. Groovy. Doesn't look like that's working. The other events do. That's interesting. Looks like I just introduced a bug. Generally speaking, you should be able to edit these queries at which point a search activity is brought up containing that query. Trust me, it does work. I must have just recently broke it. So we've shown the different kinds of points of interest, how we can create them, how we can find them. It's one of the more interesting features, I think, of MASH, and definitely one of the more sexy features. This is Mike Klein from Virtual Appliance, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video.